News just moments ago from the State House, lawmakers have passed Senate Bill 1. Good evening, I'm Donovan Varney.
And I'm Jack Green. The bill, which has the potential to reshape higher education in the state, passed 58 to 34. The bill aims to accomplish a litany of things, most notably banning the usage of diversity, equity, and inclusion in higher education and prohibiting faculty from going on strike. The bill would also bar universities and professors from taking positions on controversial topics.
Thousands of students at universities across the state and here in Athens have protested against the bill, calling it a step in the wrong direction. The bill now heads back to the Senate for approval before making its way to Governor Mike DeWine's desk. Turning now to the weather, it was a beautiful day here in Southeast Ohio, but how long is that nice weather going to stick around?
Forecaster Steve Nedlick is in the Weather Center. Steve, we're halfway through the week, and hopefully we can see some sunny skies for the start of winter. Or spring. Winter? Spring. Steve, tell us about spring.
Exactly, guys. It was a beautiful day today. We had highs up to 81 today. Right now we are at that high. But the thing to really notice about right now is these high winds and this low dew point temperature. That's going to lead to what we call a red flag warning for a majority of the state, which means if you're planning on doing anything, having even so much as a campfire tonight is a bad idea, as that could lead to forest fires and a lot of damage. So it is better to leave that for later in the week, as we will begin to have some rain on the way, which will help get us out of that red flag warning and drop our temperatures down a little bit. So as we move into tonight, we are going to have an overnight low of 48, which is then going to lead to some showers. And so we'll have, a little bit cooler of a week or a weekend. So looking forward, tomorrow we will jump back up a little bit to 53 with a chance of showers at 40%. And that overnight low of 28 may mean we have some overnight snow showers tonight and tomorrow, but stay tuned to find out more on that in my full.
Thanks, Steve. The Federal Hocking School District is laying off one person and reducing teaching positions as the district faces budget issues.
School board members made the decision at their meeting last night, and Newswatch reporter Allison Patton was there and joins us now live in studio with more on the decision. Allison, how are people reacting right now?
Donovan and Jack, the board voted 3-2 to let go of one teacher and cut 7 teaching positions. This decision drew a large number of parents, faculty, students, to the meeting, many of them upset with the change. That was just one of the many reactions from last night's meeting. The school board says the move will help stop a growing deficit of over $350,000. The question now, of the people in these 7 positions, who is getting laid off? The answer, the board doesn't know. There are some openings for teachers whose positions are on the chopping block. That's partly why the board is uncertain how many teachers are leaving. The move may save the district some money, but it would result in bigger class sizes, something community members say they don't want to see.
This is a poor area, and there are kids that need extra attention, and it's not going to happen with 28 students in a classroom.
The district superintendent says the board should have an answer on how many teachers could be leaving by their next meeting. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Allison Patton, live in studio.
Thanks, Allison. WOUB is your news source for news in Southeast Ohio. For the latest news across the region, head to our website, woub.org, or download the WOUB app. The 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati is hearing arguments in a lawsuit about using students' preferred pronouns in school. The National Christian Organization says requiring schools to use a student's preferred pronouns violates the First Amendment right of people who believe there are only 2 genders. A lower court ruled in favor of the school district, and a 3-judge panel later affirmed that decision back in July. Today, all judges for the 6th Circuit Appellate Court met to reconsider the ruling. Starting tomorrow, the Marietta Bike Path will be closed for cleaning and sanitation. The popular bike path will be undergoing maintenance, and city officials say the path will be closed during the day and reopen at 5 p.m. on the weekends. The path is expected to open again next Thursday.
The Ohio Department of Health reports vaccine rates are declining in children. This comes after 2 measles deaths in the U.S. this year alone, the first in a decade. The report shows the percentage of students entering school with all the necessary vaccines fell from 86.2% to 85.4% between the 23-24 and 24-25 school years. Experts say diseases like measles can be particularly dangerous for children. They recommend parents make sure their kids get both doses of the MMR vaccine, and at 12 and one at 12 to 15 months and the other at 4 to 6 months. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced his plans to provide dental care for kids in need. The Ohio Children's Dental Services pilot program would partner with healthcare providers to add dental services in schools similar to vision screenings. It hopes to improve students' dental hygiene because dental programs can negatively affect their mental and physical health. Gallia, Hocking, and Washington counties are 3 of the 9 counties chosen to pilot the program. If passed, ODH predicts the pilot program could provide dental care to 12,000 Ohio children.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost is seeking lead plaintiff status in the multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Block Incorporated. The lawsuit alleges Block misled investors and caused more than $12 million in losses from Ohio's largest pension program. It also claims Block hid compliance issues from investors that allowed illegal activity to occur on Cash App and Square. In January, federal and state regulators ordered Block to pay $255 million in penalties. State income tax is a hot topic as the state approaches the gubernatorial election in November, and Ohioans could see tax cuts following. John Kasich is making his platform for governor on slashing income tax, along with runners John Husted and Vivek Ramaswamy, who want to cut it entirely. Republicans say cutting income tax will eventually spark economic growth in Ohio, while Democrats say cuts only benefit the wealthy. The tax should generate $10 billion of revenue alone, and some Ohio politicians say a flat tax would be better than zero tax. Veterans rallied together outside the Veteran Affairs office in Akron, voicing their concerns over the massive layoffs that could be coming to the VA. Dozens gathered Tuesday to bring attention to the federal cuts affecting veterans.
I think what's happening to federal funding for veterans is criminal. It's unconscionable, it's unscrupulous, it's unethical. To think that those people were willing to die serving their country, preserving democracy, and funds are being cut for their care? I'm outraged.
According to a U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs press release, more than 2,400 employees have been dismissed since February across the country. It's unclear just how many VA employees have lost their jobs here in Ohio.
A federal judge ruled the Department of Government Efficiency could stay in control of the U.S. Institute of Peace. USIP sued the Trump administration yesterday to prevent DOJ from taking it over. While the judge hearing the case expressed concern for some of DOJ's tactics, she did not reinstate recently fired board members. The institution is the latest target in a string of firings and funding freezes affecting foreign aid.
The Federal Reserve is, the Federal Reserve is holding interest rates steady as economic uncertainty grows. That's as economic growth slows and President Trump puts tariffs in place, putting pressure on Americans' biggest trading partners. Economists warn the policies could push inflation higher and seek consumer spending, putting the economy at risk. Economists say Trump is shaking with what little stability the economy had before his presidency. If you're someone who collects Social Security benefits, this story is just for you. The agency says you'll no longer be able to handle certain account services by phones starting later this month. It says calls make up about 40% of direct deposit fraud, but critics worry the real goal is to chip away at Social Security itself. Amy Kiley has more.
They can essentially interfere with your ability to get your Social Security check that you've earned.
New rules could make it more complicated for some people to collect their Social Security benefits. The Trump administration says they're aimed at reducing fraud.
By tackling the waste and fraud in entitlements like Social Security, Medicare, can we actually preserve those programs for the future?
One rule, starting March 31st, requires people who can't prove their identity online to visit a field office. Another bars beneficiaries from changing their bank account information by phone, starting March 29th. Those changes come as the agency is closing some field offices and trying to reduce its workforce by about 12%.
Presumably they want people with disabilities to now walk in to some Social Security office, although they're cutting back on these Social Security offices all over this country.
Online services will still be available, but many people who collect Social Security benefits are seniors.
It bugs the crap out of me, but my mom uses the damn landline, and that's how she does things.
President Donald Trump and Republican lawmakers promise they will not cut Social Security.
We are going to love and cherish Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
But critics argue
these are not coincidental happenings. There is a design behind this, and it is to try to make these programs die on the vine.
I'm Mimi Kiley reporting.
Coming up next, we have a hot year. Last year, I don't know if you guys remember, but we'll have more information on what all those numbers are after the break.
And major move in the war in Ukraine. President Donald Trump talked with President Volodymyr Zelensky about the potential ceasefire they announced yesterday.
We're tracking a rainy start to the spring. Find out how that'll impact your weekend coming up.
In southern Kenya lies a remote desert kingdom, home to a caste of remarkable wild creatures. They owe their existence to the largest animal here, and also the smallest. Together, elephants and termites create waterholes, animal oases that are miracles of life. This is the Waterhole Story.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
In the fourth year of Changing Planet, we are focusing on two of the largest river restoration projects ever attempted.
What?
One urban.
The River Seine is undergoing a colossal detox.
One wild and remote.
These dams will be completely gone within a matter of months.
Everyone knows there's hope.
It's big.
These are stories of ambition and action for our changing planet.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
It's definitely a story that needs to be told.
When he came home, he was Jewel Huffman. When he walked out to go to work, he was Mr. Cartoon.
He's the type of guy that he just lets you feel you're his friend.
One of the things that Jewel Huffman showed everybody was you have to be human.
You made my life something special.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
We've had a wonderful start to the week so far, and we actually have temperatures sitting at 81 degrees and clear skies. Now, the story of today is that 8% humidity, and that has led a lot of our state to be under a red flag warning. So make sure you don't have any open flames today, as that could cause a problem. Thankfully, we do have a low pressure system coming in that is going to bring with us a lot of cold temperatures and a little bit of rain to help mediate those, drier air and help cool us down a bit, but it will keep that wind around. Now, taking a look here, we are seeing a little bit of this rain and this kind of snow mix move into the area, and this is all going to depend on what time it gets here. We may have a few rumbles of thunder overnight, but really not a lot of rain to speak of. However, it depends on how low that overnight low gets to. We may see a few snowflakes overnight, but that'll be out of here before you even make a commute to work tomorrow morning. Now, the interesting thing to see here is you can really tell how the temperature is going to shift with this front. You can see the middle of the country, we're sitting at 39 degrees, 40 degrees, and right now we're sitting at 81, so it will start to move out and we'll start to see those more spring-like temperatures as we begin spring tomorrow. Again, looking at tonight, we have a few maybe rumbles of thunder, and again, a temperature of 48 degrees with some of that rain in the area, but nothing of note. Looking into tomorrow, we are going to have, again, those sprinkles around. We'll have periods of rain, but it will bounce back up to 53 degrees and those overnight lows at 28. So again, every night we could have a few snowflakes, but it will be a rainy start to the spring. Now, taking a look, we're going to see this front move through, and it's going to be pretty spread out tomorrow As we move into the nighttime is when we're going to see it to be a little more widespread. And again, depending on those temperatures, we could see a few snowflakes, we could see some rain. But then the interesting part about this is we have this high pressure system building below us, and that is going to give us a pretty pleasant Friday with temperatures sitting at about 55 degrees. So that's going to be a really beautiful spring day. So you'll get out and be able to enjoy the weather. If you think today was too hot, which I personally did too, we'll start to see those temperatures drop, and we will have some sun in the area. Now, taking a look at our full week, we are going to have a bunch of different rain coming in. We're going to have rain all throughout the week. We're going to be seeing 40% on Thursday, tomorrow, and then we are going to see those numbers stay at about 50, 55 degrees. So it's going to start to feel a lot like spring. But on Saturday, we're going to start to see them kind of, those showers move back in. And then we are going to have Sunday and Monday be a little bit more widespread before on Tuesday, we start to see another cold front move in. So that'll start to dip below maybe our seasonably normal temperatures. But again, a rainy start to the spring is what we can expect.
Now, Steve, I know you said you weren't a big fan of the hot weather, but I don't mind it too bad for this little blip here now. We're going to get the spring weather coming in soon. That's
77, though. I mean, it feels a little bit closer to summer than spring.
It does. It was awesome. I loved it. Just for a day or two, though. Then I can't stand it.
Just a little snippet, and then it goes away.
Exactly.
Yeah, that rain's going to wipe it all away, and it's going to be right back.
Let's just hope we don't have another year where it's like April and we get snow.
It's not out of the question.
You don't want to speak it into existence, but you never know.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. And for you guys at home, you might have heard a tornado siren earlier today. Well, that's because Ohio tested its tornado sirens as a part of its annual severe weather Awareness Week.
Yeah, that's right. This morning's drills are meant to encourage Ohioans to prepare for severe weather in spring and summer. Businesses, households were also encouraged to practice their emergency plans. Ohio's tornado season peaks from April to June, but tornadoes can happen any month of the year.
In nearly 200 years of record keeping, last year was the hottest year on Earth. That's according to an annual report from the World Meteorological Organization. That report also states that the past decade has been the hottest on record. The WMO's findings put into context the effects of the Earth's long-term warming period. The Secretary General of the WMO said in a statement that their recent findings were a wake-up call, saying that the increasing temperatures were a risk to our lives, economies, and the planet.
President Donald Trump spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier today. This conversation comes just weeks after the two leaders had a heated sit-down meeting in the Oval Office. Julia Benbrook is at the White House with more.
President Donald Trump is describing his hour-long conversation with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as a very good one, adding that he believes the discussions to end the war in Ukraine are, quote, on track. He also said, quote, much of the discussion was based on the call made yesterday with President Putin in order to align both Russia and Ukraine in terms of their requests and needs.
The leaders agreed Ukraine and America will continue working together to bring about a real end to the war, and that lasting peace under President Trump's leadership can be achieved. The two leaders also agreed on a partial ceasefire against energy. Technical teams will meet in Saudi Arabia in the coming days to discuss broadening the ceasefire to the Black Sea on the way to a full ceasefire.
During Trump's call with Vladimir Putin on Tuesday, the Russian president also agreed to temporarily halt attacks on energy infrastructure targets in Ukraine, but stopped short of agreeing to a broader ceasefire. Russia and Ukraine exchanged aerial assaults just hours after. Zelensky has said that Putin's words are at odds with reality when it comes to Russian operations on the ground. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
It's National Poison Prevention Week, a time to highlight many attractive yet dangerous items in many households. In the latest data from 2023, U.S. poison centers responded to over 2.4 million cases. Most of these cases affected children. Doctors say these cases are happening more and more often and that parents should take extra precautions.
I see children in the emergency department who have gotten into something potentially dangerous on a regular basis.
Doctors suggest locking away potentially dangerous items like cleaning supplies, batteries, craft supplies, laundry pods, and even medications. All of these items around the hose pose a risk. Doctors also advise parents to save the poison control numbers in their phones. That number right there on your screen, right here, is 1-800-222-1222.
And next in sports, Ohio Wrestling is sending 2 Bobcats to Philadelphia this weekend for the NCAA Championships. Hear from both Garrett Thompson and Jordan Greer as they get set for the final tournament of the season when Newswatch returns.
Make way for the Queen, please.
That's just fantastic.
Ready, sir. This day has been long in coming.
At a time of brutal division, she redefined what it means to be a monarch.
Do you imagine the peril in which you stand? I shall not tolerate this defiance. Reputation is everything.
You can't do everything yourself.
I'm a queen. I don't fear anyone.
Sunday on WOUB.
She was such a trailblazer.
I wrote stories. Writing was almost like letters to myself.
I felt like I wanted to give voice to the landscape of being Latina.
If she harbored any resentment about her treatment, she never let it show.
There were no role models for someone like me in those days. Nobody.
Gather around, I got a story to tell.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Tomorrow morning marks the beginning of the wrestling NCAA Championships in Philadelphia, and 2 Bobcats will be competing.
That's right, Donovan. Jordan Greer and Garrett Thompson are back for the 2nd straight year, and reporter Mark Goldenstein sat down with both as they prepare for the tournament.
Ohio will send a pair of wrestlers to the most prestigious weekend tournament of the season, the NCAA Championships. This year, the event is held in Philadelphia as the top 33 wrestlers in each weight class will vie for the title of national champion. Ohio sends Garrett Thompson and Jordan Greer to the city of brotherly love. Thompson is the number 4 seed in the 174-pound class, while Greer is the number 20 seed in the 285-pound class. Both went to NCAA's last season, but this season the desire to place in the top 8 and become an All-American burns strong, especially with Thompson.
There's not going to be a lot of easy matches. There's probably going to be some things that I have to wrestle through, some close matches, and just not losing focus and just staying disciplined on everything throughout the week.
Thompson is scheduled to face Tyler Brennan from Little Rock, although that is an uncertainty as Brennan is in the midst of applying for a red shirt to be able to compete. Regardless, Thompson is ready for whomever steps across the mat from him. Greer faces Seth Nevels from Maryland in a rematch of last year's match that saw Greer get eliminated at NCAA's. He talks about what has changed since last season's match and how he plans to attack Nevels this year.
So last year didn't go as I wanted, but a couple of key differences, I think. One was just health, honestly. That was my first year back from my ACL injury, so I feel a lot stronger at the weight class now, a lot more mobility, so entirely it should be a different match, and I got a game plan going into it. I'm excited to see if I can execute it.
One thing that the pair of Ohio wrestlers will have in their favor is that they will be coached by 2 All-Americans, head coach Joel Greenlee and assistant coach Cody Walters. For Greer, this will be his final weekend as a Bobcat, as his redshirt senior season will end regardless of the results. He opens up about what he wants his legacy to be in Athens when it's all said and done.
I would like to be remembered as someone who tried to do everything right and just showed up every single day with a will to work, and then just be like a positive energy, really.
The 2 Ohio wrestlers head to Philadelphia for the competition on Thursday, and the desire to have their hands raised as many times as possible will remain the ultimate goal.
Nothing really changes, different day to the tournament, same tournament. I expect them to go out and wrestle as hard as they can for 7 minutes, and you take it one match at a time, and good things happen to guys that wrestle hard.
For Newswatch in Athens, I'm Mark Goldstein.
Yep, wishing them the best of luck. Still ahead, a hometown welcome for a hometown hero. After months away, what one astronaut found when she got back to Earth.
Militant accelerationists are neo-Nazis who want to use terror and violence to bring down our government and create a new white ethno-state.
What's interesting about this collective is how transnational it is.
These people on Telegram were trying to stir other people to commit acts of incredible violence.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
I hear the echoes all through the meadows. Breathe in and let go. That sweet surrender. I've been running, running, running all through the night. You can knock me down, but I've got my will to survive. Rise up, rise up.
Together, we can make real change happen.
This fire is different. I'm weathered host Maya May, and we're on the ground talking to survivors, first responders, and experts. We're living through one of the worst fires in American history to see what happened and how the people of LA are fighting back and adapting to a hotter, drier, and more dangerous reality. Weathered inside the LA firestorm.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome back. A rare celestial event is underway. From now through Friday, the planet Venus will be visible in both the morning and evening skies above the northern hemisphere. This happens a few days before the planet passes between the Earth and the Sun, and you can't expect to see this again until 2033. You'll find Venus slightly above the Sun after sunset and before sunrise, and you won't need any special viewing equipment. You won't be able to miss it. Venus will be very bright because of its closer proximity to the Sun, but if the Sun is still in the sky, be sure to protect your eyes.
You know, Donovan, speaking of space, today astronaut Suni Williams returned back to Earth after an 8-day space mission turned into a 9-month mission. People in Williamstown, in Williams' hometown in Massachusetts, gathered shoulder to shoulder as they watched their local hero land safely. Williams has an elementary school named after her in the town, and sisters Jaya and Priya Butler are both happy to see her home.
We all kind of feel relieved that she's like safe, and yeah, we're so excited to see her again.
It's like so cool that she's a part of our town, and like everybody knows her across the entire country, and I'm so proud to have gone to her school.
That's got to be cool to meet the person who your school's named after. The sisters both attended SUNY Williams Elementary School and walked the halls that are filled with relics of missions past. Williams no longer lives in Needham, Massachusetts, but she is said to visit the school often in her free time. You know, we're up in space. I'm sure the weather, well, they don't have weather in space, actually.
Exactly.
But the weather here is hotter than Venus, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
For March,
probably.
for March at least.
But that's going to change as we have temperatures that are going to dip into the 50s throughout at least the next 7 days, and we do have some rain on the way, so be on the lookout for that.
Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.